morning everyone. Today we are going to do CBSE Class 8 Science Chapter 1 Crop Production and Management. What is the meaning of crop? First of all, I want to tell you the meaning of crop. So when plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called crop. For example, wheat of a crop. So wheat of a crop means all the plants grown in a field are that of wheat. So now we know that plants can make the food themselves. So how green plants synthesize their own food? Green plants synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So animals including humans cannot make their own food. So animals get the food from plants, but we human beings get food from plants and animals both. But first of all, why do we have to eat food? We have to eat food so that the energy from the food is utilized by organisms for carrying out their various body functions such as digestion, respiration and exhalation. Now, since we all need food, how can we provide food to a large number of people in a country? So we know that food has to be produced on a large scale. In order to provide food for a large population, so what is required? So we need three requirements. First is regular production, second is proper management, and third is distribution is necessary. So now we are going to do the next topic, that is about crop only. We are going to do that there are two type of crop, that is kharif crop and rabi crops. Kharif crops, now the crops which are sown in the rainy season are called kharif crops. Now the rainy season in India generally from June to September. So in kharif crops we are growing like paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut and cotton. They are the kharif crops. And second is rabi crops. So the crops grown in the winter season, that is October to March in India, that is known as rabi crops. For example, wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. These crops are grown in the rabi crops. And besides this, pulses and vegetables are grown during summer at many places. Next topic, basic practices of crop production. Now why paddy cannot be grown in the winter season? Because paddy requires a lot of water, so that's why it is grown only in the rainy season. Now cultivation of crop involves several activities undertaken by farmers over a period of time. Now you may find that these activities are similar to those carried out by a gardener or even by you when you grow ornamental plants in your house. So these activities or tasks are referred as agricultural practices. So in agricultural practices there are seven processes. First is preparation of soil, second is sowing, third adding manure and fertilizer, fourth irrigation, fifth protecting from weeds, sixth harvesting, seventh storage. So about this seven process we will read in detail. First is preparation of soil. So the preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. So one of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. Why we have to loosen the soil? Because it allows the roots to go deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. And the loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes also present in the soil. And these microorganisms are friends of the farmer since they further turn and loosen the soil and add humans to it. Now you have learned in the previous classes also that soil contains minerals, water and air and some living organisms. In addition, that plants and animals get decomposed by soil organisms, and in this way various nutrients in the dead organisms are released back into the soil, and that nutrients are again absorbed by plants. Since only a few centimeters of the top layer of soil supports plant growth, turning and loosening of soil brings a nutrient-rich soil to the top so that plants can use these nutrients. Thus, this process is known as tilling and plowing, and this is done by using a plow. Plows are made of wood or iron, and if the soil is very dry, it may need watering before plowing. The plowed field may have big clumps of soil called crumbs, and it is necessary to break these crumbs. And next is leveling. Leveling the field is beneficial for sowing as well as for irrigation, and leveling of soil is done with the help of a leveler. Sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling. This helps in proper mixing of manure with soil, and the soil is moistened before Sowing. Next is agricultural implements. So before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break soil crumbs to get better yield. So this is done with the help of various tools, and the tools are plow, hoe and cultivator. Next topic is sowing. So we are going to continue the second topic of agriculture practices. Sowing. Sowing is an important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality, clean and healthy seeds of a good variety are selected. Farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield. Means they produce per hectare also. And now we are going to do selection of seeds. One day I saw my mother put some gram seeds in a basket and poured some water on them. After a few minutes, some seeds started to float on top. I wonder why some seeds float on water. See, are they seeds which float on water? Will those be lighter or heavier than those which sink? That seeds will be lighter. So why will they be lighter? Because damaged seeds become hollow and are thus lighter. Therefore, they float on water. Means they are damaged seeds. They are not good for yield. So this is a good method for separating good healthy seeds from the damaged ones. Before sowing, one of the most important tasks is to know about the tools used for the sowing seeds. First is the traditional tool. The tool used traditionally for sowing seeds is shaped like a funnel, and the seeds are filled into the funnel, passed down through 2 or 3 pipes having sharp ends. These ends peels into the soil and place seeds there. Second is seed drill. Nowadays, a seed drill is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This sows the seeds uniformly at equal distance and depth. It ensures that seeds get covered by the soil after sowing. So this protects seed from being eaten by birds. Sowing by using a seed drill saves time and labor. And there is a nursery near my school. I found that little plants were kept in a small bag. Why are they kept like this? Seeds of a few plants such as paddy are first grown in the nursery when they grow into seedling, and they are transported to feed manually. Some forest plants and flowering plants are also grown in the nursery. Now we know that for the seed drill, an appropriate distance between the seeds is necessary to avoid overcrowding of plants. So this allows plants to get sufficient sunlight, nutrients and water from the soil. At times, a few plants may have to be removed to prevent overcrowding. Now we are going to do the third step, that is adding manure and fertilizers. The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manure and fertilizers. Next, soil supplies mineral nutrient to the crop plants. So these nutrients are essential for the growth of plants. In certain areas, farmers grow crop after crop in the same field. So the field is never left uncultivated or fallow. So the continuous cultivation of crops make the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients, and this process is called manuring. Improper or insufficient manuring results in weak plants. So manuring is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal waste. Farmers dump plant and animal waste in pits at open places and allow it to decompose. So the decomposition is caused by some microorganisms, and the decomposed matter is used as organic manure. Now, fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrient. So fertilizers are produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, super phosphate, potash means NPK, means nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So the use of fertilizers has helped farmers to get better yield of crops such as wheat, paddy and maize. But as excess use of fertilizers has made the soil less fertile. Fertilizers have also become a source of water pollution. Therefore, in order to maintain the fertility of the soil, we have to substitute fertilizers with organic manure or leave the field uncultivated in between two crops. The use of manure improves soil texture as well as its water retaining capacity. It replenishes the soil with nutrients. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternately. Earlier farmers in northern India used to grow leguminous as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen. Farmers are being encouraged to adopt these practices. So now advantages of manure. The organic manure is considered better than fertilizer. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous due to which exchange of gases become easy. It increases the number of friendly microbes. It improves the texture of the soil. Now we are going to the fourth step, that is irrigation. All living beings need water to live. Water is important for proper growth and development. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. Along with water, minerals and fertilizers are also absorbed. Plants contain nearly 60% water. Water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry conditions. So nutrients dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant. Water also protects the crop from both frost and hot air currents. To maintain the moisture of the soil for healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. In summer, the frequency of watering is higher. So, could it be due to the increased rate of evaporation of water from the soil and the leaves? So, I am very careful this about watering the plants last summer, and my plants dried up and died. Source of irrigation. The source of water for irrigation are wells, tube wells, lakes, ponds, rivers, dams and canals. Now we are going to do traditional method of irrigation. The water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the field. Cattle or human labor is used in this method. So these methods are cheaper but less efficient. The various traditional ways are mud or chain pump. Now modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main methods used are as follows. First is a sprinkler system. This system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on top are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. So sprinkling is very useful for lawns, coffee plantation and several other crops. Second is drip system. So in this system, the water falls drop by drop directly near the root. So it is called drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit, plants, gardens and trees. Water is not wasted at all. It is a boon in regions where availability of water is poor. So now we are going to the fifth process, that is protection from weeds. Bozo and Peli went to a nearby wheat field and saw that there were some other plants in the field growing along with wheat plants. So in a field, many undesirable plants may grow naturally along with the crop. So the undesirable plants are called weeds. So the removal of weeds is called weeding. Weeding is necessary since weeds compete with the crop plants for water, nutrients, space and light. Thus they affect the growth of the crop. Some weeds interfere even in harvesting and may be poisonous for animals and human beings. Farmers adopt many ways to remove weeds and control their growth. Tilling before sowing of crops helps in uprooting and killing off weeds, which may then dry up and get mixed with the soil. The best time for the removal of weeds is before they produce flowers and seeds. The manual removal includes physical removal of weeds by uprooting or cutting them close to the ground from time to time. So this is done with the help of a khurti, as seed is also used to uproot weeds. So weeds are also controlled by using certain chemicals called weedicides like 2 and 4-D. So these are sprayed in the fields to kill the weeds. They do not damage the crops. The weedicides are diluted with water due to the extent required and sprayed in the fields with a sprayer. So as already mentioned, our weedicides are sprayed during the vegetative growth of weeds before flowering and seed formation. So spraying of weedicides may affect the health of farmers. So they should use the chemicals very carefully. They should cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth during spraying of these chemicals. Next is harvesting. So harvesting of a crop is an important task. The cutting of a crop after it is mature is called harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. It usually takes 3 or to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting in a country is either done manually by sickle or by a machine called harvester. In the harvested crop, the grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. So this process is known as threshing. So this is carried out with the help of a machine called combine, so which is in fact a harvester as well as a thresher. Now farmers have small holdings of land do the separation of grain and chaff by winnowing. So now we are going to do storage. That is, storage of producing is an important task. If the harvested crops are to be kept for a long time, they should be safe from moisture, insects, rats and microorganisms. Harvested grains have more moisture. If freshly harvested grains, or you can say seeds, are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by microorganisms, making them unfit for us or for germination. Hence, before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevents the attack of insects, pests, bacteria and fungi. Next, farmers store grains in jute bags or metallic bins. However, large-scale storage of grains is done in silos and granaries to protect them from pests like rats and insects. So dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home also, and for storing large quantities of grains in big godowns. Especially chemical treatments are required to protect them from pests and microorganisms. Now last topic is food from animals. So after completing this, you must have seen that like plants and animals also provide us with different kinds of food. So many people living in the coastal areas consume fish as a major part of their diet. In the previous classes, we have learned about the food that we obtain from plants. So we have just seen that the process of crop production involves a number of steps like selection of seeds, sowing, etc. So similarly, animals reared at home or in farms have to be provided with proper food, shelter and care. So with this is done on a large scale. It is called animal husbandry. And fish is good for health. We get cod liver oil from fish, which is rich in vitamin D. Thank you.